Okay, today we'll be learning about transport in plants, the parts of the plants. Let's take a look at the distribution of xylem and phloem in the plants first. Okay, so here I will draw the tree in black. These are the roots. These are the outline of the tree. This is the leaf. And then I will represent xylem with blue lines. Xylem. And I will represent phloem in red line. Phloem. So if you can see, they don't really overlap with each other. They have their own highway, meaning they are always parallel to each other. Okay? They don't cross each other. They don't cross out each other like this. They don't. Okay? So if you look closely, this is how they look like. And there are three distributions that you need to learn. The distribution of xylem and phloem in the leaf, in the stem, and in the roots. So normally when you draw roots, you try to draw a circular representation. Excuse me. With a few root hairs coming out. Try not to put there. Few root hairs at the bottom. These are root hairs now. The xylem, as you can see, if you were to cut here, you can see that you cut here and you look from the top. You can see that xylem is inside. Xylem is in the middle. And phloem is on the outside. You understand up to here, Amina? Amina? Okay. Next, for stem, you cut it through the stem like this, and then you look from the top. So a stem will also be circular. This is what we call the cambium. So as you can see, the xylem is also inside. So xylem inside, xylem inside, 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 inside. While the phloem is outside. The outer circle. Phloem, 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 phloem. Okay, can? For the leaf, extend. For the leaf, we don't cut it this way. For the leaf, we cut it this way. And look from the side. So for the leaf, it looks something like this. So you might be wondering, how come leaf look like this? You just imagine, this is your leaf. You know the middle part? The middle part is normally bulged out, right? Correct? Amina, you've seen the leaf before? You know that the middle of the leaf, this part is quite thick, right? So it bulges out, correct?
Yeah.
So you cut it this way, and then you look from this side. So this line here, this one is the side of the leaf, then this one is the bulge in the middle, and then this one is the rest. Okay? Can you visualize it?
Is there like a triangle section or
Triangle section.
transverse
Sorry?
or transverse or something? There'll be like two sections, right? Cut out them.
What do you mean? I haven't finished yet.
Like the
This one, blue one is on top. So is the xylem. And then the phloem is at the bottom. What triangle are you talking about?
because like at the beginning of the year, my teacher taught me there was two types of section that you cut out to see the various parts of a plant or human.
Uh-huh.
The cells.
Okay.
So
For the
is
leaf,
it
for the leaf, for the stem, for which one?
for any part of the plant?
This one is what we call cross section. There are transverse section, there are cross section. But you only
that's
need to learn about the cross section. Okay?
okay.
The transverse section will look differently. Because if you cut here, you can only see phloem. If you cut here, you can only see xylem. So there's no way that you can see the whole thing. So that's why you cut it crosswise, cross section. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so these are the distribution of xylem and phloem, color coded. Blue means xylem, red means phloem. So if you ever forget their distribution, if you forget which is which, you draw this out. Always remember xylem is inside. So you draw this line and then you draw it towards the leaf. It will also help you because when you extrapolate up, you notice that xylem becomes the top, phloem becomes the bottom. Okay? This is all because they are parallel to each other, they don't overlap. So in that case, it can happily help you or help to remind you that the xylem is at the top and phloem is at the bottom. Okay? Ken? Yes, Amina? Ken? Okay, next. We will be learning about the structure and function of xylem and phloem. We'll take a look at the structure and function of xylem first. Basically, there are two functions of xylem. The first function of xylem is to transport water and mineral salts from the roots to other parts of the plant. Okay, so if they ask you to list down two functions of xylem, you don't, number one, transport water. Number two, transport mineral salts. Okay? Not accepted. Both points that you give is actually 1 point. Okay? So how to transport water and minerals or all this? You need to have what we call hollow structure. In order to be hollow, xylem will have to be dead. Okay? Then this will, being hollow and dead, will allow what we call unimpeded flow of water and mineral salts. That means there will be no barrier to block the flow. Okay, because when the cells died, they leave the cell wall as the frame, and then the inner part of the frame become empty. So it becomes hollow. Hollow means inside there's a hole. Okay, so if inside there's a hole, it's easier for water to pass through. You imagine you have a pipe. If the pipe is empty, it's easy for the water to pass through. If the pipe is filled with tissue paper, then the tissue paper will serve as a resistance. It will resist the flow. Just like the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is acting like the tissue paper. Okay, so if you remove the tissue paper, you remove the cytoplasm, then the flow will be very smooth. Okay, this is for number one. Number two, the function is to provide mechanical support, especially to the stem. Okay, so how does this mechanical support can be achieved? By the deposits of lignin. In the cell wall. Lignin are very stubborn. So if you deposit lignins around your cell wall, you become very strong. So thanks to lignin, the xylem is very strong. Okay, so you can get mechanical support from xylem. So those wood, you know, a lot of doors, a lot of table, frame, all this, they are made out of wood, right? Like example, my table is also made out of wood. So this wood are actually xylem, okay? Because if other structure of the plant is not that what we call strong. So when the plant die, the parts of the plant die out. Okay, but the cell wall of the xylem remains there. So when you cut the bark or cut the wood that you get is actually xylem. Xylem after xylem. Years and years of different xylems being slowly built. That's why sometimes you look at the wood closely, you see one line, right? Amina, have you seen wood?
It looks brown color.
Brown color, yes, because it's dead. And then sometimes if you look closely to the wood, right, you can see lines. One line. Can not? You can see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, let me show you my table. Can see one line?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So the lines, so say for example, this is one line. This line, sorry, this line here is like maybe 1 year of growth. And then the second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. So it actually takes many years for the plant to build a good bark. Okay, so this is for xylem. Let's take a look at phloem. Phloem is a collective name for two structure. The structure known as sieve plate or sieve tube element. And the bottom one, the second one is companion cell. They work together to form phloem. So that means sieve tube elements, although sieve tube elements is the one that carry out most of the transportation, but it needs companion cells to stay alive. So they are like partner, they are in partnership. You can't really kill one and expect the other to do the job. Okay, you kill this one, no job done. You kill this one, it can still do the job, but after some time it will die off. Okay, so the two of them are like partners. Okay, they need each other to survive the long run. So sieve tube elements function, I put the function at the bottom. Function is to carry out translocation. So if you haven't noticed or if you haven't learned about what is translocation, translocation is the transport of food in the form of amino acids and sucrose. Okay, that is translocation. Companion cells, its function is to provide nutrients to keep sieve tube elements alive. That's why it's called companion cell. It's there to keep the sieve tube elements company. Okay, so what is the structure that allow it to carry out its function? The structure of sieve tube element is it is degenerated. Degenerated here means it only have cytoplasm. It doesn't have any organelles. It doesn't have nucleus, mitochondria. Even if there are just a few of it, not enough to support the sieve tube elements in the long run. Companion cells has full set of organelles. So these organelles will not just support the companion cells, but also support the sieve tube elements. Like for example, sieve tube elements don't have, say, ribosome. Companion cells will carry out, it has ribosomes, it carry out protein synthesis and then send the protein to the sieve tube elements. Something like this. Like for example, you don't have bread. Your neighbor has bread maker. So your neighbor make the bread, feed themselves, and also feed you. Okay, Ken? Amina?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, degenerated, only having cytoplasm actually helps sieve tube elements to carry out the movement of food. As you remember from earlier, xylem is totally empty. So the movement of water is very smooth. For sieve tube elements, we can't really kill the sieve tube elements and make it hollow because food require a different way to move. So in that case, they maintain the cytoplasm and remove the organelles. So the organelles is serving like an extra burden, extra resistance. So if you can remove the organelles and leave only the cytoplasm, you can transport food very, very quickly. Okay? But not having organelles, meaning that means that the sieve tube elements might die because it cannot support itself. So companion cells come around and support sieve tube elements. Okay? Ken? So basically this is xylem and phloem. Let me see if I were to miss out anything. Okay, some of the things that I need to highlight for phloem is, take note, phloem has what we call sieve plates. Sieve plates have sealing ability. That means it will be able to seal up the phloem if there's any damage. You imagine there's a tube. Okay, this tube is working fine, so substances pass through the holes of the tubes. Then suddenly the tube break. When the tube break, the substances inside the tube will flow out. Okay, so the substances inside the phloem or inside the sieve tube element is actually very precious. Okay, it's more precious than water because you have taken so long, okay, wait until sunshine, photosynthesis, and then you make food, and then yeah, so it's like a very long, tedious process. Then suddenly there's a damage in the sieve tube element, and you just happily free flow the so-called food, just keep flowing out. You don't want that to occur. You want to make sure that there is sealing ability to prevent further loss. So if there's any damage to the sieve tube elements, the sieve plates will seal up the flowworm. So you might be wondering how it works. So just imagine this is the sieve tube elements. Sieve tube elements have sieve plates. So these are the plates. If there is a damage here, food start to flow out. Sieve tube elements will seal up this part and also seal up this part. Okay? Seal up for only a while. Then, you know, like our body, when there is a cut or there's a wound, our body will quickly repair it. Okay? So after there's a cut or there's a damage over here, it's quickly sealed up to prevent further loss of food. Then after that, slowly the plant cells will recover. So once it recovers, then the whole thing can continue again. Okay? So this is the main thing, the thing that I need to highlight for phloem. At the same time, remember, xylem will transport only upwards direction, but phloem can transport upward and downward. Okay? Why? For xylem, xylem transports substances from the bottom, from the roots, so it can only go upwards. But for phloem, the leaf is found in the middle. There is new shoots at the top. So you need to transport towards the bottom to get the food to the roots. You also need to support the newly grown shoots at the top. So that's why movement in the xylem is unidirectional, while movement in the phloem is bidirectional. That means it can go up, can go down. Okay, Ken? Yes, Amina? Any other question? Do you have questions for this part?
Just now you said the sieve plate sealing, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it will cover up. Will that happen like when we pluck out a branch or something and then like part of the plant is gone? So will it still recover?
Yes, yes. It will say this is a branch and you cut off this part. If you cut off this part, then it will seal over here. It will seal over here. Depends on whether there's a new branch coming up or not. If there's a new branch, then they will remove the blockage. If you can see those old tree, right? Sometimes when you cut it, then it will be like that, right? It will be sealed forever lah. Amina?
Okay.
Yeah, you can imagine this as the sealing ability is for like a cut. Like say for example, your hand, you have a cut, or your finger, you have a cut. Okay, this is a minor damage. So the sealing ability will activate, and then when you heal, the sealing ability or the sealing ability will be deactivated. But if you were to cut off your whole finger, what happened? If you cut off the whole finger, and then the parts, say this is your finger, this part gone already. So what happened? Then this part has to be sealed permanently lah. Okay? It's easier to understand when you are looking at your own body. Then? Okay.